So I guess the question I would ask briefly of all three of you, is the Rhode Island economy heading in the right direction?
Oh, absolutely. And those indicators are real. First time, only 5 areas the federal government tracks are positive since August of 2006.
Okay.
And yes, our unemployment is unacceptably high at 10.4%, but it's going in the right direction for the last 7 months. So the hard work we're doing, laying the foundation, since it's football season, we'll use football metaphors. We're not doing the Hail Marys and the Statue of Liberty plays. We're grinding it out, investing the right way, building the economy the right way with education. It's not just talk. Together, we've put in $73 million into K-12 in the last 2 years, accelerating the school funding formula. We've reversed the cuts to higher ed, the $38 million in cuts to higher ed before I took office in 3 years. I mean, that makes no sense to me, driving up tuitions at RIC, CCRI, and URI. We've reversed that, put money back in. That's not just talking about it, that's walking the walk. And then in infrastructure, finally, for the first time I can remember, going to vote. This November, we did not go in to vote for a bond issue to get our 20% state money to match our 80% federal money to do road projects. It made no sense borrowing 20% and paying interest. No other state did it, I believe.
Right.
And for the first time, working together, that's infrastructure, that's interest that we can now put to where it should be going, to roads and bridges and dams and fiber optics and all the good things we can do. Transportation, probably not fiber optics, but and then workforce development. We're building the economy the right way, and the metrics are showing that we're doing it the right way.
You've all been, in your seats for a little while or a longer while. Where has that vision been? Why don't we have a vision?
I heard that. I take issue with it.
And I would ask your opinion on that, and then I would ask you to articulate the vision.
Well, I think the vision's been there. I think what and some of it because is in terms of what the governor and the Senate president had just talked about in terms of it takes visions to know that you have to get an education funding formula passed. Didn't happen for a lot of years, but it took vision to say, you know what, our public schools are so important to the success of this community that we need to get a predictable way to fund public schools, that we have to add an incentive to have families feel they can send their children to public schools. That's vision. I mean, a lot of times what people don't realize is connecting that, because we feel we feel our own pain, and things may not feel well, you don't feel like you're moving ahead in your job or whatever, just start to think that we're heading in the wrong direction. But a lot of this stuff is nuanced, and it does take time. The very mere fact that we decide as leadership we have to live within our means. We tackle things like, and it's in the courts now, pension reform, or the fact that you had to make tough cuts, tough human service cuts over the last few years to say we have to show the world that we can live within our means. An opening budget surplus not only shows good revenues and things that I think shows sign of confidence, but it's also because we were making the tough cuts. I think that we have had leaders over the last few years. I'd like to include Senate President Paiva Weed, Governor Chafee, myself, and that we have said on our watch we can't kick these strong issues that had been kicked down the road for a long time. We have to tackle them. We can't keep bonding for infrastructure. We have to find a way to better that we pay as we go, because it makes better sense. It's a big ship of state. And turning around practices don't happen overnight, but it is going in the right direction, I believe.
I would add to that. I think I agree with everything the speaker said. That being said, I described a consensus plan. And that is a plan in which it's not just the governor having a plan or the speaker and the Senate president having a plan, but a plan that's a vision, a written document that comes based upon participation from the community and buy-in from the community, the business community. So we set forth, for example, to kind of echo what the speaker said, we really have been acting out a plan. We enacted under the leadership of Leader Ruggiero and Speaker Fox, I-195, the Knowledge District. We've said this is important to us. We've got Ray Gallison, myself, others who focus on the defense industry. We definitely, in the governor's office, they've already mentioned electric boat. We've worked with our federal delegation as well as Raytheon. We have the sectors. We know defense, we know tourism, but I'm talking about sectors of economic development. And what I'm talking about is the defense industry, the tourism industry, the knowledge district. And those sectors all coming together.
What I call, since it's football season again, block and tackling. When your team's not doing well, you go back to basics. And that's what I believe in. And it's, people say, oh, there's no vision because it's not flashy. There's not the fancy Hail Mary. There's not the Statue of Liberty play. We're just grinding it out, blocking and tackling. And
So you talk about
once again, the metrics
infrastructure,
support that. Yes.
education,
yes, and workforce development.
Workforce development.
Yes, that's the blocking and tackling of growing a foundation so that we can say to the businesses 10, 15, 20 years from now, we're going to give you predictability. We're going to give you stability. We're going to give you certainty. That's what they want.
I guess I like to throw
They'll
the ball.
gladly pay the taxes.
You have to throw the ball a little every now and again.
He's blocking and tackling, but I like to throw the ball a little, so that's.
Well, how would you like to throw the ball in a way that...
That's when I
maybe-
say we've got to look at our tax structure, we've got to take some bold moves, we've got to look at public-private partnerships like Dave Dooley. And yes, there's going to be some risk in these things that we're going to do.
Do you agree
but
with that?
we need to.